All right, we're going to finish the week with a piece of good news here. So I know that the Democrats would love to have you continue to panic about COVID for the rest of time. And in fact, you have the education secretary who just came out and said we should actually mandate COVID-19 vaccines in schools. This is Miguel Cardona. He said, not only do I support it, I'm encouraging states to come with a plan to make sure it happens. I would like governors who hold those decisions to make decisions now that vaccines are FDA approved. There's a reason we're not talking about measles today. It was a required vaccination. We put it behind us. I do believe at this point we need to be moving forward. Yes, the reason that we are not talking about measles is because measles is a childhood disease. It was not endemic among the population. The basic notion that if you mandate vaccinations for small children with regard to COVID, that you're going to wipe out COVID is silly. There's not a single scientist who believes this is the case. No one believes we are getting to zero COVID. Okay, but now we're talking about mandating for small children these vaccines, which, again, it is one thing to say for adults who have a higher risk that they ought to be thinking about taking the vaccine because the risks from COVID outweigh the risks from the vaccine. But when you're talking about the risks of COVID to small children, the risks are so unbelievably minute that you're talking about gradations of risk, and maybe a little bit of long-term testing might be a little bit better. Like, we can barely get the CDC and the FDA to agree on who should get booster shots at this point who are adults. And here you have government actors suggesting that we are going to mandate vaccines for children with regard to COVID-19. Again, with regard to a disease that kids are just not dying from in large numbers. And in many years, there have been more deaths, like half of the past 10 years, there have been more deaths from the flu than there have been from COVID over the period of COVID. And yet you have the Democrats continuing to push this stuff. Gavin Newsom, the once and future governor of California, he says that a vaccine mandate is still on the table for kids.
We want to continue to be vigilant. We want to continue to lean in. We still have a lot of work to do. I worry about a winter surge. And so, yes, it's now back on the table to get our kids vaccinated, 12 to 17. We're not seeing the numbers we're seeing for other age cohorts. The decision will be made over the course of the next few days. We have a lot of partners with 1,050 school districts in the state of California, the largest school system in the United States. But it is true, our health director said it today, that this is on the table. It's being debated, and over the next few days, we will come out with
I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay, but I told you I'd end with some good news. Here's the good news. According to the latest UK data, other countries actually have data. We don't bother to do data in the United States. We just have our FDA and CDC pretty much just pull out of their ass, and they don't have any rationale for it. Okay, here's the data from the UK. You ready? Long COVID symptoms are higher in the control group than in the COVID positive group for young children at 12 to 16 weeks post-infection. So you're more likely to have long COVID symptoms in a control group than in the COVID positive group for kids post-infection. Not only that, the woman who created the Oxford vaccine now says that COVID is unlikely to mutate into a much deadlier variant and will eventually just cause something that looks like the common cold. So there's your good news, is that we are pretty much at the end of this thing, but they're not going to stop the panic because the panic is how they get things done. Who's got two thumbs and wants you to like and subscribe?